you are always thinking, you are always perpetuating thoughts into physics, right? That perpetuation, whether you want it or not, is going on. Whether you're aware of it or not, consciously, unconscious, going on. It's always creating because you're a creative being. So the reason this information is very important, we study it every day and is a part of our lifestyle, it's because we want to feed it with the ideas, with new way of thinking that we want. If you don't do that consciously, if you don't decide to do that, guess what happens to autopilot? Autopilot is the programming, is paradigm. This line that I was drawing here, it's indication. Above this line, you guys cannot see with your eyes. Below this line, you can see. This is you in the physical world, okay? I want everybody to understand, when we talk about mind, mind is not in where you can't see it. It's somewhere above here that you can't see. So you have, this is your mind. Let's say this first circle indicates your mind, and the second circle indicates your imagination. So when we're talking about programming, you have ideas. You come to this world blank, no ideas. You come to this world and you start getting your ideas. These X that I'm putting are ideas that are rooted in you. They tell you about the money, about people, about education, about how you need to be, about our culture, everything they tell you, and your view and perception about the world, right? And these images are, these ideas are images that can be over billions of images. Imagine if I ask you, Manuel, hey, when you were 7 years old, January 13th, that day, at 10 o'clock, at 9 o'clock, 8 o'clock, when you went to that wedding with your parents, something happened from 8 to 9 o'clock. Do you remember what happened? No. That context, you start recording that context, and whatever interaction they had with you, let's say you were playing with the kids and the kids start hanging out together and they don't want to hang out with you or play with you, right? Because you were not good enough from their eyes, right? Or you were not cool enough, or for some reason they didn't want to. You start creating idea, right, over here about you. So many other things about you, right? So everything that we see, experience, will go in this indication of circle, which is your mind, right? Can you guys hear me? Different dimension. So what happens, you're always perpetuating, always, or you see where I say you can see this world through what you have programmed here. Growing up and your parents talked to you about money and they said, hey, money is roots of to all evil. Guess what? You want to make money, you consciously think money, but the program, the idea here is money is roots to all evil. So it doesn't matter what you think. This is always perpetuating, these ideas are perpetuating through you, and this is how you see the world. Therefore, that's what you're going to do. That's going to be your perception. So what we need to do, we need to interfere in this system. What do you mean interfere? It means that you need to start building new ideas here in your imagination. Self-image about you, who you are. What do you want in life? Where do you want to go? What do you want your life to look like? What do you want to experience? Right? So when you do that and you say, no, that's what welcomes. You say, no, that's not what I want. This is what I want. And you're going to start repetition, repeating that, and that becomes your new way of thinking. And when you start deciding, you start transforming these ideas and these thoughts, and that's what you're going to see in your physical world. So how many of you guys today, and be honest, how many of you guys today, when somebody says something or does something, upsets you? Truly. How many of you guys? All of you guys. Is there anybody who can tell me here they don't get upset? We can test it right now. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Can anybody tell me that they won't get upset? They have the ability. I want to tell you something today, very important, that moving forward from now on, nobody can upset you. No one. Can anybody tell me that they have the ability to get to the point that nobody can upset them? Now, what you're going to understand, when you see someone says something to you or does something, upsets you, you allow them to upset you. But you got to have a better understanding what happened there. That person is at no fault. It's not their fault that they said something or the behavior way that upsets you. You know why? Because they are performer. They're just performing the ideas here, and they're behaving and doing what they think they should be doing. Other than that, they wouldn't know what else to do. So they did exactly how they are programmed to do. You see what I'm saying? So when you see someone saying something to upset you, or I don't know, to say something hurting your feeling, they did it because they're programmed to do that. That doesn't mean they meant to say it. They meant to do it. They're just programmed to do it. They're just performer. So they have literally no control. And if you ask them, they say, oh yeah, that's what it is. And that's what they believe that they had to do. They couldn't say anything but that, because that's how they're programmed. Therefore, when you see an individual that you know that they are a mechanism, they're just performing the ideas, the belief, the experience, they think their family, culture told them that they need to be doing in certain contexts. And that's what they're doing. You get to the point that you won't even get affected by negative people. You know why? Because you're consciously going to start, at some point, people are going to be negative and talk about it, because you understand the mechanism of the mind. You start letting go of those ideas, the things that they talk. You don't internalize them. When you start feeling bad or negative, you know what you're doing to yourself? You're starting internalizing the information that you're hearing. You need to stop that. I can be among of 100 negative people. They can talk about all the things that are happening in the world, all the negative things, all complaining. It would not affect me at all, because I understand they're talking off their program, they're not aware, and I do not internalize their ideas. When you start talking to people always tell you about the worry that they have in future. And I know that person is using their imagination to create something that they don't want. You know, when you start internalizing ideas that you don't like, you start transforming it through your body, putting your body in a stress or fear mood. You know what are you doing in the quantum field? Your quantum field, you're starting putting possibility out, and your body is the indicator, is telling you you're about to create something that is not in your advantage. You're about to create something that is not good for you. That's what your body is telling you.
Because your paradigm controls your logic. So if we're operating from our paradigm, and if we're operating from our logic, we have a limit as to how much we can earn.
Right.
We're going to use our current belief system to choose what we think we can do, and the actions that are propelled are going to be actions in alignment with only what we think we can do based on that paradigm. So
Correct.
If we're used to making $50,000, we're used to making $100,000, $200,000, we can go a little bit further with using our logic, but we're always going to stay more or less in the same spot, in a similar position or a similar feeling. We're operating with the same set of rules,
Right.
based on that paradigm.
Correct. So how do you change that?
Well, for one, it's through awareness. It's through understanding that first and foremost, and then it's letting go of that identity and reprogramming yourself to accept and adopt and breathe life into a new identity. So through the creative process, just like we've created everything else around us, we use our imagination, we use We use people who have done similar things. We model it. We create this identity in our imagination. We live it. We breathe it. And through that repetition, through that belief and emotional attachment, we begin to act it out. And as we act it out, it changes the things in our physical world and reaffirms that belief. And then things start to move into form.
If you want to summarize that in one word, what would you say?
That's a good question. I don't
Decision.
know. Decision.
That's
That's
what it's
good.
called.
Yeah.